Welcome back to Australia Visa Alert, your most trusted source for real, actionable immigration news. If you are watching this in April 2026, I need you to pay close attention, because what I am about to share with you could completely change the direction of your visa journey. Australia's immigration system is undergoing a transformation unlike anything we have seen before. The numbers are staggering. Nearly 500,000 people arrived in Australia in just the last 12 months, the highest migration figure in the country's entire recorded history. In October alone, over 57,000 long-term arrivals were recorded. That is roughly 2,000 people entering the race every single day. And these are not just applicants from Asia. Strong waves are also coming from the United States and the United Kingdom as people search for stability, safety, and a better quality of life down under. Now here is what this means for you. More people does not mean more opportunity. It means higher standards, tougher filters, and less room for weak applications. The Australian government has responded by raising the bar, stricter English language requirements, stronger work experience demands, and a sharper focus on selecting only those who can genuinely contribute to the economy. If you do not have a clear, well-prepared strategy going into 2026, your application will simply get buried under hundreds of thousands of others. But do not panic. There are still very real pathways open right now. And in this video, I am going to walk you through exactly where those opportunities are and how to position yourself to take advantage of them. Let us start with the big picture. Why Australia is still accepting migrants despite all this pressure. Australia's economy grew by 2.6% annually, the fastest pace in nearly 3 years. The unemployment rate is sitting at 4.3%, which sounds low. And it is. But what that figure really tells us is that there are not enough skilled workers to fill the gaps the economy is creating. The private sector is expanding rapidly across both manufacturing and services, and skilled migration has contributed over 70% of Australia's workforce growth since the year 2000. Without a steady flow of trained, qualified workers, Australia's aging population would bring economic growth to a halt. So the government is not closing the doors. They are just installing better locks, filters designed to let in the right people, not just anyone. The industries with the most urgent demand right now are healthcare, aged care, construction, engineering, and technology. In the trades sector, skilled electricians and workers on renewable energy projects are earning between $120,000 and $150,000 per year. These are not rumors. These are real wages for real jobs waiting to be filled. Now let us talk about the visa landscape for 2026 and which pathways actually make sense. The Visa 189, the Skilled Independent Visa, has become extremely competitive. With a very limited number of invitations issued each round, only candidates scoring between 95 and 100 points in high-demand fields like healthcare or education are realistically in the game. If that is not your situation, redirect your energy immediately. The smarter move for most applicants right now is the Visa 190 and the Visa 491. The 190 nominated visa gives you 5 extra points and leads directly to permanent residency. The trade-off is that you must commit to living and working in your nominating state for at least 2 years. If you are serious about building a life in Australia, this is a completely reasonable commitment. But the real game changer in April 2026 is the Visa 491, the Skilled Work Regional Visa. This visa adds 15 points to your score instantly. That means a candidate sitting at 65 points suddenly becomes an 80-point applicant, which is a genuinely competitive score in today's environment. A lot of people hesitate when they hear the word regional because they assume it means remote or rural. But the 2026 definition of regional Australia now includes cities like Adelaide, Bendigo, and the Gold Coast. Cost of living is lower, housing is more affordable, and salaries are comparable to Sydney or Melbourne in most skilled occupations. And once you complete 3 years of living and working in a regional area with the required minimum income, you qualify for permanent residency. It is 1 step back to take 2 steps forward, and it is the most secure PR pathway available right now. Let us now look at what is happening across the different states and territories, because the situation varies significantly depending on where you are targeting. Victoria and Western Australia are currently the most active states for skilled migration. Victoria is heavily prioritizing healthcare, aged care, and education professionals. Western Australia is a powerhouse for construction, mining, and engineering, and they have made their nomination process notably straightforward for qualified applicants. South Australia and Tasmania are also regularly issuing invitations, particularly for occupations that are in high demand locally or for candidates who already have work experience within those states. New South Wales is a mixed picture. The 190 visa category remains open, but the 491 regional visa has been closed due to overwhelming demand. If you are based in Sydney and waiting for a regional visa invitation from New South Wales, it is time to seriously consider redirecting your application to another state. The ACT, the Australian Capital Territory, operates its own unique nomination system with a critical skills focus. If you are living and working in Canberra in a priority occupation, your chances of receiving an invitation are genuinely strong. Do not overlook this territory. Queensland is in the final stages of allocating its numbers for this cycle, but has opened expressions of interest registration. If you are targeting Queensland, now is the time to get your application ready. They consistently favor candidates with strong English scores, particularly PTE scores of 79 or above. The Northern Territory has largely reached its targets for this period and has closed most of its active programs. Your best approach for that region is to wait and prepare for the next financial year cycle. For international students, 2026 brings both opportunity and increased scrutiny. The government has raised the student visa quota to 295,000, but at the same time, they have implemented a much stricter integrity framework. What this means in practice is that superficial courses chosen purely for visa purposes will no longer pass the test. You need to be genuinely enrolled in a program that leads to real skills and real employment. If you are on a student visa and thinking about your immigration pathway, focus on two things above everything else. First, your English score. Do not aim for the minimum pass mark. Push for a PTE score of 79 or higher. That alone gives you 20 additional immigration points, which can make the difference between receiving an invitation and waiting indefinitely. Second, choose your field of study wisely. The Australian government is actively looking for graduates who can step directly into the workforce. Students in aged care, nursing, construction management, and engineering currently have a significant advantage, including access to employer sponsorship programs where sponsorship requirements have been relaxed specifically to address workforce shortages. A degree is a starting point. It is not a guarantee. Skills, practical experience, and the right occupation are what will keep you in Australia long term. So how do you actually win in this environment? Let me give you 3 tactics that work right now. The first is to apply across multiple channels. If your occupation is on the relevant skilled occupation lists for more than one state, prepare your expression of interest so that you can submit to multiple states simultaneously. Do not put everything on one door when several doors might be open to you. The second is to run your skill assessment and English test at the same time. Many applicants make the mistake of waiting for one result before starting the other. The skill assessment process alone can take 3 to 4 months. If you wait, you are losing time. Start both processes in parallel so that the moment your English results arrive, you are ready to submit your EOI immediately. The third is to take regional pathways seriously. If your point score is not competitive enough for the major cities, moving to a regional area is not a downgrade. It is a strategic upgrade. Work experience in a designated regional postcode actively strengthens your application in every single invitation round. Here's the bottom line for April 2026. Australia is opening the door wider in terms of numbers, but narrowing it significantly in terms of quality. The opportunity is still real and it is still there, but only for those who are genuinely prepared and ready to move quickly. 3 things you need to do right now. First, maximize your immigration points by every legitimate means available, especially your English score and documented work experience. Second, stay current with state nomination updates and target the states that are actively issuing invitations for your occupation. Third, make sure your legal documents are complete, clean, and ready to submit the moment an invitation comes through. If you found this breakdown useful, Subscribe to Australia Visa Alert and turn on your notifications, because this landscape is changing every single month and you cannot afford to miss an update. And if you want a personalized assessment of your specific situation, reach out directly. Every case is different, and the right strategy for you depends on your occupation, your scores, and your timeline. Thank you for watching, and good luck on your journey.